What's up? Today, we're going to make a surprise edit. Okay, so what is a surprise edit? A surprise edit is basically a mashup that either goes into an instrumental out or an a cappella out after the original song is played. So let's say, for example, on this edit, I have the ever so popular song Yummy by Justin Bieber that is then going into Down on Me, which in this case, I'm taking the instrumental out and then I'm putting the a cappella on top of that. Sometimes it's the inverse, so the inverse of this would be Yummy having the a cappella out and then me putting a different instrumental over top of it. I will just play a brief snippet so you guys can see what we are working with here today. I don't want to play the whole thing because I'm definitely going to get a copyright strike for this. So
she want it, I can tell she want it. Want me to push up on it, for she know where I'm all on it. We get the party going, liquor flowing, this is fire. 50 in Jeremiah, number one, there's nothing higher. Get it, get it.
I see you, baby.
Work it, break it, break it.
Just put it down on me.
Get it,
Put it down on me.
break it, break it.
Okay, she headed to the dance floor and she slowly started popping it. Something like my wrist piece, everybody got to watching it.
kind of fire. So I'm just going to go top down so you guys can see what I did. These are actually the stems because I'm still having issues with my MacBook. There was an issue where I recorded this whole thing already and then it wouldn't export the video and it said it was corrupted somehow. So I had to then export all of the stems and put them on this computer. So going the extra mile for you guys. So here I just chopped up the instrumental a bunch. So in my previous mashup video, I talked about how if you're dealing with phrasing, you should try to adjust the instrumental instead of the a cappella, because the a cappella is what people are going to recognize the most and want that to be in the most dedicated, synced mode as possible. You don't want to change up the a cappella too much because those are the lyrics that people are going to sing. So I definitely recommend chopping up the instrumental, which is what I did here. I chopped up the instrumental a bunch. I changed where the verses, the choruses, all of that stuff, the lead-ins would be. And then below that, I just put the DIY acapella below there. With that, the only thing I did that was fancy was I automated the EQ here. The only thing that really changes here is the different vocalists. So with the DIY, sometimes the issues you'll have are maybe a lot of like low end or high end still sitting in because it's not a standard studio acapella. So what I did here was, because 50 Cent has a lower voice on this, it's more like bassy. So it's originally rolling off at 150 hertz because the other singer has like a higher voice. But when 50 Cent's part comes in, I actually automated it so the EQ would then go down a little bit and then make room for all of his voice to come through. So I wasn't taking away the bite or that sort of body of his voice. So you'll see here, the EQ is going to change.
Put it down on me.
System thumping, party jump.
So I just a little bit, just moved it a little bit over so that that lower section can come in. And then I just added a section here for an acapella out for DJs.
I like the way you grind with that booty on me. Shorty, you down while you looking lonely.
Below the acapella and instrumental, we have just your effects here. So you won't see an EQ on any of the high-end risers and falls just because I already did that in the previous project. So all of that stuff's already rolled off. So here I have just your standard riser. And then I put a little bit of reverb there on it at the end. And then I have an impact. I did copy the settings over here so you guys can see what I did. I just rolled off the low end because when this impact is hitting, the 808 from Yummy is already coming in. So I didn't want to have those two things conflicting, so I just rolled off the low end of the impact. And then below that, I have just the standard part of Yummy. I should have put that up there higher, but
Stupid.
the only thing that when I exported it, I did have a delay on there at the end, so it helped with it helped with the transition. And then I have a light impact. And then a light riser that I put some reverb on at the end to help with the transition. And then I copied those over later just to segue into the acapella out. And then on the bottom here, I just have the limiter with the auto setting and then a little bit of gain added to it to make up for any loudness that was lost. And that was pretty much it with this edit. Surprise edits are very, very common, and they're definitely something that I do more of now and that I think other DJs should be doing more of rather than your standard mashups and things of that nature. I think putting that sort of DJ tool on top of it really makes it beneficial for anyone. And I think it will get more people to notice your edits because you're going the extra mile and kind of are going above and beyond. But if you follow these steps and do everything like I did, you should have an edit that sounds like this.
She want it, I can tell she want it. Want me to push up on it, for she know where I'm all on it. We get the party going, liquor flowing, this is fire. 50 and Jeremiah, number one, there's nothing higher. Get it, get it.
I see you, baby.
Work it, break it, break it.
Just put it down on me.
Get it,
Put it down on me.
break it, break it, down.
Okay, she headed to the dance floor and she slowly started popping it. Something like my wrist piece, everybody got to watching it. Girl, you got that secret treasure, I'm gon' put a lock on it. Don't care what they say, I would be stupid to be not on it.
Absolute banger. Alrighty, ladies and gents, that wraps it up for today's video. Hopefully you learned something new. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'll be back next week with another video explaining how to make your own DJ tools, your own scratch edits. So you guys will be able to make your own scratch edits, your own like beat juggling edits. So if you're doing like the DMC or if you're doing any sort of DJ battle, you have your own custom edits that DJs can download or that you can just use for yourself just to have those like secret goodies that everyone wants but can't have. And that's what makes you just so special. But until that time, make sure you take it easy, tell someone you love them, all of that good stuff, and I'll see you next week.